Okay, welcome back. Finally got this motor spinning with a DMOC445 controller. We still have everything hooked up. Got our CC shell over RS-232. We've got my test motor here. I've rewired it from Delta to Y because we're running at a higher voltage. We got our 12-volt battery here. It's currently flipped on. Now, before I had my test box hooked up over here, for running in analog mode. We now have the test box hooked up to the trusty DMOC adapter, and that has been set up, reprogrammed to send out the necessary CAN packets. Yep, we're running in CAN mode. For some reason, in analog mode, it expects a CAN packet to tell it to go to 0 torque as part of its safety check, but when it's in analog mode, it doesn't receive CAN packets. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. They've somehow crippled it or broke it in such a way. But so I had to implement CAN mode anyway to get that one packet over, and so I just went ahead and did it anyway. So this is now running in CAN mode. So as you can see, my test box has a pass-through port, and that's coming over here. It goes all the way over here, back in through over to here, and you can see that I've unplugged everything. So the only things that are hooked up are the enable and disable lines. So this switch and this switch are the only thing going to here. The pot and forward and reverse and everything's going over to the DMOC adapter. It is connected over Wi-Fi to my laptop, and I'm running my little CAN sniffer program that I wrote. It's written in HTML5. It is running locally on the machine, but it is actually connected over there, and you can see it, the packet's being transmitted, and that's been received. And yeah, I don't have it actually, there's no time step. I haven't implemented that, but you can see it's receiving what it's transmitting. And then we've got it running in, where'd my mouse go? There it is. It's, if I put it in scroll, you can see the packets just blowing by, and you can pause it. So it's sending out packets 50 times a second. So if you were to count 50 of those, that would have been 1 second. But it's easier to run it in this mode here, where you can just see everything. And I went and actually wrote a packet decoder for it, because, you know, I went through all the trouble of putting it all in there, I might as well, right? So if I were to put this in gear, I have the drive off right now. So, and I'm going to turn the throttle pot. You'll see CAN packet changing here, and you can see the torque values here changing. And so that does what it's supposed to do. Bring it up to 0. You put it in reverse, and of course, we are now committing negative torque. So that works as expected. So we'll go ahead and flip that back. So that's all good. Luckily, we only actually need to send... Wow, that looks terrible. Old CRT monitor. We only need to send the control message, and we get the status packet back, and that's what's going on there. So, without further ado, we will go ahead and flip this on. I got the torque all the way down, and if we were to come over here, this now says has updated everything, so the contactor's closed, we're neutral, and blah 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 blah. And then, without getting too much motion sickness, if we come over to here, you can see contactor, focus, maybe, yeah, contactor closed, power stage ready, no faults, and we're not being limited because of commanded torque's too high or thermal limiting, so everything's good, everything's ready to go. So, if I go ahead and give it just, put it forward, I'm going to give it just a little bit of throttle, and there you go. So that's working. I don't have regen braking. That's actually disabled right now, but probably shouldn't have spun it up so high, because we'll have to wait for it to spin up. Well, I guess I could theoretically, I could put it into reverse, and I could give it a little bit of throttle and There you go, slower down. And there's reverse. So that's all working. So it looks like this drive works perfectly fine. Now, one thing that's come up is I am actually only running at 200 and, what's it say, 274 volts. My battery pack has seen better days. It's built out of retired truck batteries. There's 24 in series. So I can't really get any higher, so the university that this drive belongs to is actually, they're running at 360 volts, which does exceed, I mean, it's a bit high for this drive, for this motor controller. So I've got a big, I might have to rig something up with just rectified 240 and see if we can't run it at a higher voltage to see if we can get it to kick out. I'm suspecting that the higher voltage is what's going to cause the drive for the contactor to kick out. Because, like I said, what I've been doing, I haven't had any problems with the contactor clicking in and out. It's pretty reliable. I can click it in and out. It does its thing. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. But anyways, it's spinning. This is still programmed for an AC 55 motor, so that's why I don't want to spool up my motor. This is what is it, AC GT 20, and so the parameters are all completely wrong, bogus for it. But when there's no load on it, it's horribly inefficient, but it'll spin it. So just run it in synchronous mode. But yeah, I guess that's it. I couldn't get it to work in analog mode. There's something, I don't know, this is a Gen 2, and maybe there's something they really don't want you to run in analog mode. I could not figure out a way to send a packet over to command 0 torque when it's in analog mode, since it doesn't receive CAN packets. So yeah, really weird. Anyways, thanks for watching.